a realistic starting point. Like, what does a fire drill consist of? Or again, we're talking about fires because we're in California, but if they're on the East Coast, what is whatever drills they have? I don't even know over there. What does a snowstorm drill consist of? Or what does a hurricane drill consist of? Tell me the steps, explain it to me. What visuals, if there are, assuming this is a special day class, what visuals do you have to support the drill? Can I see them? Like I said, ask to have copies sent home, ask to have the language sent home. That's a huge piece. And then that will open up the discussion for, this is really great, but for my child, like I said earlier, I know that this might work. Or can we change the pictures? I know this is 2D, two-dimensional. He needs three-dimensional. Let's make a 3D version of this. You said multi-steps. You're absolutely right. There's a lot of steps. You can have a visual checklist of each step. And of course, when it's a drill, that's possible. In the moment, it might not be possible, but the whole point of the drills is, again, for it to become like second nature, ideally. And we talked earlier about, can parents opt out? There may be actually the opposite, where you want to have them practice it more often because they require more repetition to be able to make it like second nature. So parents might say, you're only doing this once a quarter. He's not going to remember that. Like, can we have a goal for him to do this at least, once a month or once every 2 weeks, whatever it takes. So it's just so individualized, but parents can ask, for anything. I mean, obviously realistic, stuff, not anything, but my point being, some kids might need it more, some kids might need it less, some parents might want to opt out. They're all possibilities, as long as there's a rational explanation and it makes sense as far as their ability to be successful within the educational setting, and also in this case, safe within the educational setting. This is a learning point and safety is important. So, all gen ed students have to partake in these, therefore they have the right to partake in it. And we need to make sure that when they're partaking in it, it's meaningful. So that's the piece that's most important. How are we making it meaningful and accessible to them in such a way that, just like for the gen ed students, if it happened for reals, they could be safe. And if that requires reliance on an adult, of course, is that adult fully trained? That would be the big question for me as the parent. Like, I know my kid's not going to be able to do this on their own, whether you practice it 5 times or 500 times, he's going to need Sally. Tell me the plan for Sally. How is she going to be trained? If Sally's not there, who is going to be there? Because there's no guarantee that Sally doesn't call out that day. Who's the backup? To me, those are really important questions as well. Who's keeping my kid safe when my kid isn't going to be able to keep him or herself safe? And if my kid is able to keep him or herself safe, what do we need to have written down to ensure that that's a possibility for him or her? And again, that can be a goal. Safety can be an area for IEP goals, or it can be accommodations, or like you said, if we want to write a specialized plan. I like disaster preparedness plan. Personally, that sounds cool. Whatever we're calling it, that would be listed under accommodations, see attached, and then you attach it.